All right, today we're diving into something really interesting, the core philosophy behind a unique approach to community learning called RemarkableU. We're going to explore why it was created in the first place, and honestly, it all boils down to one single fundamental question. Seriously, think about that for a second. All the experience, the wisdom, the incredible stories that people collect over a lifetime, what happens when all that knowledge just doesn't have anywhere to go, when it stays locked inside? This one question, right here, is the entire reason the Remarkable You approach even exists. And that brings us right to the heart of it, the core problem this whole philosophy is designed to solve. It's about what happens when our experience stays hidden, not just from our communities, but from ourselves too. So, what exactly is Remarkable You? Well, the first thing to know is that it's not a brand or a company. It's an approach. It's a way of thinking about and designing learning experiences that are laser-focused on strengthening two really important things: our natural ingenuity and our confidence. Okay, so if the problem is all this isolated knowledge, what's the solution? Well, it all starts by creating a very specific kind of environment, a space that is intentionally, deliberately built without pressure. This space is really designed for three things. First, it's just a place to gather what you already know. Second, it's a place to make sense of all that experience. And third, maybe most importantly, it's a place to reconnect with your own voice. The critical part here is that this all happens without that nagging pressure to perform or that need to create something valuable just to feel like you belong. And this difference is really at the heart of the whole approach. See, on one side, you have what you could call a philosophy of performance, where you feel this constant pressure to produce something amazing just to be accepted. But on the other side, you have a philosophy of presence, where you belong simply because you're there. In this world, an activity like writing isn't the whole point. It's just the form your reflection happens to take. This whole idea is captured perfectly in their main experience, which they call a wisdom-gathering quest. I love that name. The goal isn't to become some master writer. No, the goal is to organize your own lived experience and figure out how to express it in a way that feels grounding, empowering, and actually useful in your own life. So, how does all this work in practice? Well, this philosophy is grounded in a really practical, really human first step: building comfort. This quote right here is a core insight for the entire approach. It recognizes that when people hesitate, it's usually not about the technology itself. It's about the deep-seated fear of being made to feel foolish or inept just for trying to use it. And let's be real, this feeling doesn't just come from nowhere. We've all been there, right? Past frustrations, software that changes overnight, and just a plain old lack of support, it can wear down the confidence of even the most capable people, making them hesitant to even show up in online spaces. So how do you deal with that resistance to feeling incompetent? You tackle it head on. The entire experience kicks off with a dedicated orientation workshop before any of the deep reflective work even begins. This workshop is all about building genuine comfort with these everyday tools. The whole point is to remove that fear of getting it wrong so that all of a person's mental energy can go toward reflection and expression, not toward wrestling with the technology. Now, once that comfort is established, something pretty amazing starts to happen. You get this series of small, steady wins that creates a powerful chain reaction, a kind of ripple effect. You can see it unfold in 4 clear steps. First, feeling competent with the tools builds real, tangible confidence. Then, that confidence helps restore a person's voice, their willingness to speak up and share. Once their voice is back, their participation is restored. And finally, all that isolated, lived knowledge starts moving back into circulation where it can benefit everyone. And the ultimate outcome of this entire ripple effect? It's simple, but it's profound. Imagination prospers. When people feel safe, when they feel confident and heard, that's when new ideas and creativity can truly flourish. So here's the crucial point to take away from all this. None of this is abstract. This isn't some theoretical model of empowerment you read about in a textbook. It's a description of what actually happens in practice when you start by addressing the simple human need to feel competent and respected. We started this whole thing by asking what happens when knowledge stays isolated. But this process, it leads us to a much more personal and I think much more powerful final question for you to think about. What happens for you and for your community when your voice is restored?